Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the last part of the anagram packet. So the last part of the anagram packet is vanishing point illusions, bent paper, weaving, and railroad tracks and circus tent. Now, if you do not have a packet, I actually spread out these exercises, which are all on this page. So they have all 4 on one page. I spread them out on the front and the back of another sheet of paper. So for vanishing point illusions, which is this box right here, I used my ruler to measure a 4-inch by 4-inch box. Then I used my ruler to make a mark at the 2-inch spot on every side. I connected those together. Then I went ahead and I put a dot in each quadrant. All right, moving on to the bent paper one, the crease. I didn't actually measure a specific size on here. I would make it maybe about 6 by 4 or so, 6 inches by 4 inches. And then in terms of these lines, I did not measure them. What I tried to do is just make them spaced out further on the edges and closer together in the middle. This one even has more in the middle, like very close together. So you could do that if you wanted to. All right, this is just the setup. This isn't finished. Then on the back, I have the bent paper, okay? I just tried to make it as close as possible. I measured out a rectangle, and then I just tilted these to the best of my ability to look like this. This one I used the inside of a roll of tape, and I just traced around it to make a circle. So you just find something in your house or a lid or something like that to make a circle. And then I took my ruler and I drew lines coming out from that center point. All right, the other ones that I don't have in there are, let me find them, this railroad tracks and circus tents. So I would need to add those on another piece of paper. This is simply 2 lines with 4 dots on the bottom and a dot here. And I'll show everyone how to do that. And then circus tent is literally a line with a dot, another line with a bunch of evenly spaced dots, and then another line. So I'm not too concerned about the measurements. I think these are about a 1/2 inch apart. Don't worry about doing anything for combining grids or bent checkerboard. That's just a variation. So the only ones you have to do on the back are railroad tracks and circus tent. All right, so let's go to the actual packet. So on this one where it says vanishing point illusions, it is supposed to look like this. So they actually have these little marks on here and they have them connect together, but I'm going to say we don't actually have to have them connect if we don't want. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw lines that come out from that center point and are not necessarily even lines. So I might leave a space here. Some of these sections may be bigger. Some may be smaller. It kind of reminds me of, if you remember in Art 1, we made that city and we had all of the different sized buildings going around it. And I know I can hear some of you already saying, oh, I remember that. It was terrible, blah, 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 blah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so there's our first section. Then we'd start the second section and you could even connect these if you wanted to. So I could replicate it. And that's really what they want you to do. But if you don't exactly do that, that's okay. We want to have these coming out of that center point again. You can make them as similar as you can. Again, I realize it may not be exactly the same. So then I would add some coming out of here. The same thing would happen. Maybe I try to make the lines touch here. And so it makes a different kind of optical illusion design. Again, everything that we're doing now is meant to give you choices for your actual art project, okay? So I would just continue going around until I finish this. And the same thing happens for this side too. I would go through until I finish all of that. And it looks similar to this one, okay? All right, next would be, let's do the crease. So the crease is pretty simple from what I can see. You basically just draw lines across and they make basically a different checkerboard pattern. So let's say I make a skinny line. Okay, there we go. And then a wide line. And then maybe I make another medium line next to it. And a wide line here. It's kind of up to you how you want to space them. And then when you're all done, these are the ones that are supposed to be colored in. These can get kind of tricky here because they're so tiny. But if you do this on your project, it might kind of have a cool effect. So consider, ooh, it's making me dizzy looking at that. Okay, consider doing that on your project. So you need to color this in similar to a checkerboard. All right, bent paper. Now this is kind of like a zigzag line, similar to one. So you see how they connect together. So it's like all of the lines in this section go upwards. All of the lines in the next section go down. And it gives the illusion that the paper is bent. Now, there are little dotted lines if you have the printout. I'm not going to make you go with those dotted lines, but you can if you want. So I'm going to turn it because it's just easier to turn it, honestly. And I'm going to make lines that slant upwards. And I'm not actually going to use those little lines on here. You can if you want. All right. Then I'm going to slant it downward on the next section. So I do that. Okay, and then on the next section, I do the same thing and I slant it upward. Now I may need to add some more lines because there's a lot of this that is not filled in, but just for the sake of the time of the video, that's what I'm doing. So I would probably need to add in some more up here, but at least I have these ones. And then here, they would go ahead and slant downward, except I would use a ruler. If you forget your ruler, then you need to use like the side of a book or something like that, something straight edge. Okay. Last but not least, we have the tunnel and then the two on the back. Now, this one's a little tricky because it's got circles. Now, it may be tough to find different size circles at school or at your house. So if you want to go ahead and free draw this one, I am not going to count that against you. Just try your best. It is tough whenever we don't have compasses because obviously, wow, that looks really bad, because it would be a lot easier if we had compasses, but we don't because of COVID. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to color this in. I may actually order some more compasses. So if I end up ordering them, I may be able to loan those out to different people. Okay, and then I'm going to color in this area. It's going to look like a checkerboard when I'm all done, and you can kind of see the effect there. All right, let's go ahead and do the back, and then we will be all done with the packet. When you're done with the packet, you're going to have to take a picture of each page and then send it to me. So railroad tracks. It says we need to draw a line to each one. So I assume these are two separate railroad tracks, and then you draw straight lines to make the railroad. I'm going to do it this way. I think it'll be easier. Okay, here we go. Hey, 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 I can do it. Look at me. And actually, they should be getting closer together as you get further back instead of further apart. I don't know why I did that. Because things going back in space appear smaller, so they should be getting closer and closer together until they like almost like merge. Woo, there we go. All right, Circus Tent. This is pretty easy. I'm not sure why they put this on there, but basically you just connect this vanishing point to these dots all the way around, and it makes the top of a tent. Okay, pretend I finished that. Then you just make a line straight down and color it in. You just color in every other one. I think they just want you to color like this. I mean, color nicer. I'm just giving you like a quick tutorial. Okay, and then you'd finish it, and there you have a circus tent, and then you're done. All right, questions, email hallkr.